Is this thing on? I sure hope so. Because I don't have time to mess around. I don't have any time to mess around. This is like gonna be a lot. I don't even know. No, I can do it. We can do it. It's gonna be okay. But I just gotta get to work. Because I'm starting late. Because my setup was all messed up. Drawing this motherfucker was no easy task. Poking him isn't gonna be any easier, but we're gonna try our best. And we're gonna try to do it quick. Because it's necessary. Because this is a good one. Damn, I think I just messed up my... Now I'm worried more about the angle than the tattoo. I shouldn't be doing that. Alright. We're gonna get started on his face. This is a whiz robe. Not necessarily a wizard, right? But it's dope. It's dope enough. You can't really say it's not. You can't really say it's not a wizard. It's just not the traditional type. Sorry, I'm not the traditional type. I'm going to use rubbing alcohol on this particular spoon because I'm rushing. Is this really the mode? Is this really the mood to be doing an intricate and intense tattoo in? Shouldn't I wait till tomorrow? I might ask myself in the future. No. Let's just do it. Just do it. That's what I'm thinking right now. But we'll see. Maybe in the future I'll regret this decision. Maybe it'll be ugly because of how rushed it is. But I'm going for it. We're going to try it. And we're going to try to do it quick. Because I am on a very strict time limit. Good morning. This wizard. This whiz robe. It's like a toucan wizard from Zelda. That's the plan. Let's see how much we can pull it off. It's a lot of lines here. We're not going to finish it today, but we can at least get it embedded so that tomorrow it's easy to come back to. We all know that the poking is the longest part. So I already drew it, and it's already on my skin. Hopefully, if I can just get through all these lines with the needle, then it won't matter how much we're missing, because we'll be able to see it for tomorrow. But yeah, this is crazy that I'm doing this right now. I'm just realizing. I'm just not going to wash it. And then I'll still have the stencil for tomorrow. But yeah, forgive me if I don't say much. If I don't have anything interesting to say today. Because this is a whole situation that we're dealing with now. Speed poke. I know people do speed runs of The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker all the time. Maybe not all the time these days. But a little speed poke is highly ill-advised. I'm going to admit it right now, outright. This is not what I should be doing with my morning. I should be reading. I should read a book. That's what I should be doing, not tattooing myself. But here we are. Going for it. Just straight up going for it. Pulling on stencils. This one's so big, I don't even know if I can reach it all without poking, without grabbing the stencil. Everywhere I turn, there's stencil for me to grab. This maybe should be one that I do on my own time instead of live, so I can really focus. You know. But here we are. Just trying my best. This is the most wizard that I would be willing to do. I was looking at all the wizard pictures, all the faces, all the beards, and you know what's wrong with a wizard tattoo? Is under that robe, if it's a human wizard that you're trying to tattoo, he's got a penis under his robe. Now, why do I want a tattoo that I know deep down inside is covering up a penis? I don't. I don't want that. So I pick some sort of fictional bird-type wizard. Look, I'm already bleeding out from how anxiously I'm poking. If you poke when you're anxious, you're probably going to go too deep. That's what's happening here. These are just anxiety pokes. I need to focus more on speed than power. But we don't have a choice. This is not really a decision-making moment. I guess this is a test. I guess this is my final, and I'm just ill-prepared. This is my summer final. Hagrid would approve. Thanks, Sadie. If Hagrid would be down, then that's all I care about. I just didn't want any dicks on me. I just didn't want any creepy old men looking up at me. You know? So we're just gonna do like a toucan. But look how big this is. This is one of my biggest stick and pokes, but it's gonna have the most lines. Which might be stupid. It might be really stupid for me to be trying to do this right now, because it's 5:30. In less than an hour, I gotta go. And if I don't go, I'm gonna get a call from CPS, from the Child Protective Services. They're gonna be wondering what I was doing and why I didn't pick up my daughter. And it's gonna be a whole situation. So, just gotta see how fast we can do this. Is it possible? Is it possible, we're asking? That's what this tattoo is about. It's about the possibilities, the endless, I don't know, who knows? If I can just get this face done, that's the hardest part. The stencil from the rest of this, I'm going to color it in due time. It's going to be all colored in, and it's going to be dope. This is going to be probably my coolest tattoo. My feet are sweating so much that I can't even rest them on my desk chair. This is crazy. What a wild decision I've made this morning. I was frantically looking around for my deodorant so I could apply the stencil. And couldn't find it for way too long. So I took too long. So it took too long. Once I get through this face though, I can do the body like sort of sparse. I need to make sure to get the details on this face really good. But I can get the dots on the body kind of far apart, and I won't have to worry about, because I just need to be able to see them tomorrow. Like where all the dots are, so I can follow them again. I don't need to get it perfect today. I just need to get through all of it. So fingers crossed. Wind Waker was my favorite Zelda game. I'm going to go on the record. I've played it not as much as I've played Breath of the Wild or even Ocarina of Time. But the cartoon graphics, I don't think they made another Zelda game like Wind Waker. That was the only one that looked the way it did. And they had cool smoky explosions, and all the enemies looked totally different from the past. Like, they really revamped the whole Zelda vibe for that game. And then if you beat it and you wanted to play it again, when you play it again after you beat it, you get to play in pajamas. You get to play through the whole game in Link's pajamas, and he never puts on the green tunic. Now that's next level. That was fun. Just a little, I don't think there's a lot of other Zelda games where you get to be Link in pajamas. 'Cause he even had like messed up hair. 'Cause he wasn't wearing his green hat. So he had like bedhead for the whole game. That's fun. Ain't nobody gonna tell me different. And if you do, I'll call you a liar. You can't even tell me that you don't think bedhead in pajamas through a whole Zelda game isn't fun without being just a straight up liar. That's not an opinion. That's not an opinion you can just hold. You know? That's a lie. You would have to be false to me. So, I won't accept it. That's an answer I won't accept. Now you could say, I've never played Zelda where Link was wearing pajamas. So and you could say that doesn't sound fun. But if you've ever done it, you know how fun it is. You know what I should have done is I should have just lubed his whole face. I think I did. His face is lubed. Alright, we're going to do the face. We're going to finish the face up the way the good Lord intended. And then I'll just wipe his face off so we can prove to myself that it's going to be okay. Because I just need this to go okay. Do not need this to be perfect. I played like the first level of Wind Waker like 50 times because there was a demo of it on GameCube before I actually played the full version. I had like the Zelda Collector's Edition disc, and it had like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, the original Zeldas, and then it also had a demo of Wind Waker. So I just played that demo over and over and over again. You get to hide under barrels. Look how sweaty I am. This is getting crazy. What have I done here today? What kind of decision making is this? Who let this guy make choices? We're making pretty good time. We can do it. Pray for me, guys. If you're watching right now, please pray for me. I gotta get rid of this keyboard. It is in the way. I need more space for this big old bicep. There we go. Holy smokes. The last thing I'm gonna do is just give up on this tattoo. That would be awkward. That'd be really awkward if I just tried to not do this right now. If I was like, I'm just not gonna do it. I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna have this weird chunk of ink on my skin. That would be irreparable. If I just quit here and wiped this whole thing up and said I'm not gonna do it, there would be no way to come back. So I really have to do it right now. which is why I'm so stressed about it. Maybe I should chill out a little bit, now that we got it going. Last thing I want is to ruin a good tattoo just because I was in a bad mind state while I was doing it. Let's get this eyeball. I'm not going to do the inside of his eye. I'm just going to do the round outside eye shape. And then, a cartoon eye is easy. I'll just put in smaller circles later. That's no big deal. But we need to know where it is. At least. So when we come back, it's like, yep, there's a circle. There's an empty circle. That's where the eyeball's gonna go. See, there's an empty circle. That's where the eyeball's gonna go. You know? You know what I mean? Okay. Let's see. He's got some weird lines on his face, too, that I don't want to miss later. Although they're not that important, because it's mostly going to be colored in. But how it's going to be colored in, so that it makes sense, is important to keep track of. So I don't want to miss anything. Damn, this thing is getting messy. Phase 1. Really set myself up here for it. Okay, his helmet and eyeball are complete. Let's get this beak. Is the beak lubed? Yeah, we're good. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make this happen. He's got some stripes on his face, so these are gonna be the stripes. Let's get the spoon in the... We don't want to miss the dips. It's all about angles. So there's a stripe. That's going to be some color. Some reds and greens. Some yellows and blues. This could be a very colorful tattoo. I'm excited. I just wish I gave myself... No. I actually don't. I'm kind of enjoying that this is like a challenge. That I have to do it like this. Because now every time I look at this, I'll be like, you know what? If I could do that... And that's a big if, by the way. If I can do this, there's a lot of things I can do that I didn't think I could do. I'm just going to put it... That's a pretty simple way to put it. Yeah, Wind Waker was fun because the whole world, it's like an apocalypse. It was like the first Zelda apocalypse. I mean, they're all about, the end of the world because Ganondorf and stuff. But this one took place, like, in a world that was destroyed, Because it was like the whole world was covered with water. And the only parts of Hyrule that remained were like the peaks of mountaintops, So it was like islands. It was all islands that you would visit throughout the land. And there was really beautiful communities on some of these islands. Like sweet, really sweet big towns that you could explore. I don't even think Breath of the Wild doesn't even have towns like Wind Waker had. I mean, they have towns in Breath of the Wild, but they're not like thriving communities. They're all sort of like what's left. But Wind Waker takes place like a long time after the flood. The Great Flood. Where the whole world is engulfed in like I said, water. But you get to like go around on your boat. You got this cool like dragon boat. Sassy, now is not the time. You get this no. You get this cool dragon red lion dragon type boat that you would sail around. And you would have to change the direction of the wind with songs. There's a song to change the direction of the wind. Sassy, shut the fuck up. I'm stressed out. I don't talk to her nice when I'm having a bad time. And that's why she does it too. She only meows when I'm having a bad time. No. Not gonna work today, girl. You're not gonna get me to react. Okay, I'm reacting. Jeez. Yeah, I hear you. I don't know what you want me to do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. Sassy, it's called It Is What It Is. Deal with it. I think she's literally either my wife is in duress right now. Yeah, it is very sassy of her. Yeah, that's just what she does. She's a very sassy cat. And my wife says that that's why she's named Sassy. But I'm positive that it goes the other way around. Because you gotta name your cat first. You name your cat when you first meet them. How do you know what their personality is when you first meet them? So, really, dude, it's not cool. What you're doing right now, I will throw something at you. I'll do it on camera. Everybody will see me abuse you and I won't care. No. No. Don't make me dump hot coffee on you. I will do it. You're teasing. You think just because I'm on camera, I'm not going to throw hot coffee on you? I will do it right now. Don't make me pause the camera. She's a bitch. She's a real cunt. Anyways. I bet I was just saying something very interesting, so excuse the interruption. We're not going to get back to whatever it was that I was saying anytime soon. Okay. We really did make it through this phase in good time. Not cool. But yeah, these bastards, these whiz robes. There's like wizard type characters in all the Zelda games, and they all cast mean spells of fire, or summoning, or electric, or ice. All kinds of mean stuff. But in Wind Waker, they made the wizards look like toucans. Pretty cool. Pretty cool move, Zelda. Very creative. Nobody would have guessed that. Nobody would have seen a wizard, heard that you were going to change what it looked like, and then thought, how about a toucan? Is it going to be a toucan? Nobody guessed that. So I always really appreciated it. And then the damn new ones in Breath of the Wild, it's the main reason I don't call Breath of the Wild my favorite Zelda, is because the whiz robes are so weird looking. They don't make any sense. They don't have a face. They barely have any like all the characters in Breath of the Wild are really cool and interesting looking, except the whiz robe. They completely dropped the ball on one of the most annoying enemies in the game. One of the most hard. They're not easy to beat. You have to fight like with some focus when you take on one of those little guys. But they're just stupid looking. So a little throwback tattoo to represent a little bit of that as well. Of like, hey, let's take it back a step. We used to do it better. Animation used to be better. CGI even. I saw a meme and it was like CGI in 2006 and it was like some Pirates of the Caribbean shit, with the tentacles and then Avatar, 2008 I guess. When was that? 2010. But then now they got She-Hulk. Hey, green? You just make them green? That's the most you can do for us? Come on. And they put an eyeball in the middle of Doctor Strange's forehead. Which looks like shit anyways. They didn't even do a good job on that damn eyeball. Now, my wife has a theory about what happened with CGI and why it used to be better. And I think she might be right. In fact, I think she's so right about this idea that she must have gotten it from somewhere else. I actually have a hard time believing that she just thought of this solution to why CGI used to be better. She said now CGI is all done by the computers. They have like programs that CGI stuff for them. Like they just do an AI, like make this green, and then the AI is like computing, bing, CGI complete. Where back in the day, they used to like have people do it. Like people would painstakingly animate each and every frame of every scene, but they would love it because this is so cool. CGI, look what we can do. Look, we can create new realities. Oh. So there was like love in all the animations back in the day. And now they just have a robot do it. They're like, put an eyeball in the middle of his forehead. And the robot's like, bing, 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 here you go. And there's just no love in modern animation. They're not even trying. They don't even have people doing it. And that's the difference. You always think that robots are going to take all our jobs. But people do jobs better. People care. People will put in that extra effort that a robot will just be like, unnecessary to complete this task. Don't hire a robot if you want it done right. Now, if you give a robot's abilities to a human, that's next level. That's where you start getting really good work getting done. Here's a good example. Give a woman a vibrator. She will feel great. She'll feel great. Right? But you give a man a vibrator to use on a woman. I imagine, I'm not a woman, but I bet it's better. That's basically what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like a woman alone having sex with a robot, probably great, probably really, really good. But you give a man a robot dick, and now he's going to use that thing with some love and some attention and some care instead of just basically, not the bare minimum, because the bare minimum would be nothing. Women don't need to feel good. Anyways, now I'm talking out of turn. I should get a woman on this topic and ask her, what do you think about the difference between just you using a vibrator and a man using one with you? I bet I'm not wrong. I would put money on it. I would bet money on that. Hey, look, we made it through the face. We made it through the part that I thought was impossible. Now here's the problem. I'm running out of time, and I really got to get through this robe now. So we're going to wipe this face off, and we're going to kick it into overdrive for the rest of this tattoo, where I'm just going to poke along the tat. I'm not actually going to do all that great of a job. I don't have any water, so I'm going to wipe it with some coffee. I hope this goes okay. It's coffee and soap. Can we add a third choice? Well, if you're going to say a woman using a vibrator on a woman, no. Absolutely not. No. We're not LGBTQ here. No offense. I mean, if there's really a third choice, if it isn't a woman using a vibrator on a woman, maybe. Then I can consider. But unfortunately, we only talk about straight stuff here. We don't really go down that rabbit hole. You know? Yeah. You don't have enough experiences. I understand. I understand there's some men out there who don't do a good job. Hell, I don't do a good job. But, I mean, men are better at everything than women. Here's the thing with a woman. Yeah, I hear you. I hear what you're saying in your experience. But if you got an expert man, men just do every task with more, with more. They bring more to the game. Now, the women that you have dealt with, maybe have done better jobs, or maybe you're too detached from men and you hate them, so it's just not working out. But it's not about just working the toy. It's also about making love and having a toy. It's like, because a woman still doesn't have a penis to use with the toy. They just have the toy. So, if you get a good man in there to use his penis and a toy, that's going to be the ultimate. And that's just nature. That's literally just how the world works. And I understand if you don't have any proof of that in your experience, but that is like factual. That's just how the universe is designed. We wouldn't be able to propagate as a species if men weren't better at it than women in the grand scheme. Like, if women were actually better at it than men, we wouldn't have any people left, because women would just be doing the women, you know? But I understand if you haven't been proven that personally. You know, I'm not going to say that your experiences aren't true. But I'm just going based off of like this is just statistical analysis. You know, maybe what you need, maybe like a woman would use the toy and the man would just be there, being loving and caring and masculine and strong. But he wouldn't necessarily have to work the toy. Maybe the woman works the toy while the man works the other side of it. But you get a strong man who's taking care of a woman and making her feel safe. I understand that women a lot of times don't feel safe with men. But when they do, they feel much safer than they ever could with a woman. Because a man can protect you from men. A woman can't do that. That's one thing a woman's not going to be able to do. Is if you're playing with a woman with a toy and you're doing your thing, and then a man with a gun bursts in, you know, you've always got that in the back of your head when you're in bed. Like, what if a burglar comes in here? If you're with a man who can protect you, then you can quell that thought. You can put that thought to the back of your mind and say, well, at least this man will protect me from the burglar that pops in, and then you can fully relax. I like both genders equally, but when it comes to working aftermarket equipment, women have been more competent, but I'm in a relationship with a man and a woman, so I get the best of both. Ew. That sounds really unfortunate for everybody involved, but who am I to talk? I mean, I'm tattooing myself. I don't know anything. Sounds like it might be the worst of both. I mean, maybe some of the best of both. I agree. Good for everybody who is happy right now. I'm glad everybody who's happy right now is happy right now. But that does sound complicated. That sounds like a whole situation. Drama. I know the TV shows want us to think that that's the ideal situation. But that's extra drama. And there's no getting around that. That's just guaranteed extra drama. But probably extra fun too. I'm sure there's a lot of neurons firing and chemical dumping and probably a lot of drug use. That's cool. Definitely cool is the right word for that. I gotta make sure I get around this whole thing. This is a big tattoo. I should have sized it down a little bit, but that's cool. I like it big. I'm not even gonna poke everywhere in this line. Those dots are far apart. I do believe that being with one person, and especially when it's a man on woman combination, is going to produce the best results. Because creating life. That's what it's for. That's what sex is for. It's not everybody wants to believe it's like, this is just pleasure. We're just having fun. But the ultimate fun is creating life. And that is the ultimate pleasure. And when you know you're doing that in the back of your head, the orgasms are stronger. It's a stronger orgasm for everybody involved when you know that through that portal is going to come a human being. Another human being. When you're opening a portal to heaven and allowing one of God's angels to fly through into your life, there's no greater pleasure. I'm going to go on record with that. That's a fact. And the reason I know that is, again, because that's how the universe is designed. So maybe of all the straight sex you've been having where it was dissatisfying, maybe it was just dissatisfying because you weren't trying to bring an angel into the world. Just saying. Now with two women and a man, I could see why, if you're opening yourself up to bringing two angels into the world, that could be a great satisfaction. I could see that. But as long as you're just having carnal sex, as long as you're just fucking to fuck, and you're not, we have two kids and are trying for another. Well, then there it is. That's beautiful. Oh, then you know. Well, then I should be listening to you. I should actually just shut my mouth then. I have no ground to stand on right now. That's beautiful, Sadie. Good for you. I am officially not the expert in the room. Guys, we officially have a sexpert scratcher. That's cool. Yeah, I also did say that I don't think men work the toy better. Well, actually no, I do think a man, who knows. Now I feel like I gotta do second guesses, cause Sadie's really got a lot of experience in this field. I mean, yeah, it sounds like maybe your man. I'm not saying that I'm good with toys. I would never say that, because I don't know what a woman feels like. But I would bet that there are some real doctors out there of the vibrator. Some men out there who have just devoted their whole lives to pleasuring women. And I would bet that they really do achieve that next level. As long as they're trying to make a baby as well. As long as the whole picture is getting achieved, I bet that's what's... I would bet that, it's still a bet. Nobody can say that, it's a gamble. Nobody could say that I'm not. Now, wow. I've gotten real worked up here, thinking I was right and finding out that I'm just wrong. That's fun. I love finding out that I'm wrong. It makes me feel bad in my stomach, but that gets my brain working. Now I got to reconsider things. I mean, not really. I think any woman would say that women achieve higher levels of pleasure for them. That is like the classical answer. I've just never been able to actually have a conversation with somebody about it. So I'm going to have to reconvene with you on this one. Is it more fun when both people are involved? I guess that's my ultimate question. Because I wasn't necessarily trying to say that a man with a toy is better than just a toy. What I was trying to say is a human with a toy, like the love of a person using a machine. Does that make sense? Like, the only reason I would say a man is better is because we have stronger brains for problem solving and skill building. But really, what the point that I was trying to make is that if you give AI, if you give robotic possibilities to the human spirit and mind, it does a better job. And the only reason I even went down the lesbian path is because I'm trying to keep it straight. Yeah. Okay. See, I like trying to twist up the past to make myself seem like I wasn't wrong. That's the other thing I like to do. It's fun. We have fun here. Oh, what a cool scratcher Sadie is. What an interesting situation we have here. Learning new things every day. Do you tattoo? I've also been involved with the female half for almost 20 years, and our male partner has been involved for 9. That's dope. Good for you guys. 20 years is a long time to be with somebody. 9 years is also a long time to be with somebody. That's pretty cool. Do you tattoo yourself, Sadie? I've been saying you're a scratcher, but I don't actually know that. Or do you not necessarily just yourself, but do you tattoo? Or is this just a situation? Because I'm so damn entertaining. Cool. Okay, cool. Scratchers. What up? That's nice. That's cool as hell. Well, Sadie, this one's for you. And this wizard is learning a lot about reality today. And you tattoo your lady. Cool. I would really like to get... Okay, can I get through this robe in 15 minutes? Holy shit, what have I set myself up for? Time to go in actual overdrive. I got too caught up in the political conversation. The socio-sexual political conversation. Instead of my final, this is supposed to be a major tattoo for me. I've been wanting a Wizrobe tattoo for a long ass time. And I didn't even think of it until this morning. When I was searching wizards, a picture of a Wizrobe popped up and I was like, oh, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I forgot that that's what I wanted. And I won't apologize for not getting a wizard with a beard like we discussed. But I think my I think my reasoning is pretty legit of like not wanting to have a penis anywhere on me. I think that's fair. Cuz if you it's kind of like if you get a tattoo of a lady, even if she's all covered up, there's going to be titties in that tattoo. Unless you get a really flat-chested lady. Or if you have her wearing a blanket or something. And I'm okay with that. That wouldn't bother me that much. But anywhere in a tattoo, but if you do a tattoo that's of a man character, even if you cover it up, you have to know that deep down under that robe, there's a penis. And we're just trying to avoid that. I'm just trying to avoid having that thought ever have to go through my mind of like, if I tattooed a wizard on me, eventually the thought would go through my mind of like, I wonder how big that wizard's dick is. And now I got a whole mental problem. Now I have a whole situation under my belt. Under his belt. I think I can do this. If I just go really fast, I think I can get to his other wing. But if not, I'm just not going to wash this arm very good. And then I'll still have a stencil. I can't believe I wiped his face with coffee. I did not see that coming today. That's the kind of stress I'm under right now. When you wipe your tattoos with coffee and soap, because you just don't have time to go get water, that's where I'm at right now. And then I'm busy getting all caught up in arguments about whether men or women are better with vibrators. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Why would I pretend to know? I mean, I do stand by. I will stand by it. As I've agreed already that I'm wasting time having this conversation, I stand by that likely the best person in the world, of the whole world of people who use vibrators, the number one, like the top 10% of vibrator users are probably men. And then there's probably a lot of men who are just too scared to use one. Or there's a lot of men who don't get enough opportunities to get good at it. So most, like the vast, like 99% of vibrator users are women. But the top 1%, the 1% best one are like gigolo dudes. Like men who get paid by women to do stuff like that. I would bet that. I would put some money on that. You know, when you're a man and your life is on the line, when you gotta make a living, you make yourself get good at stuff. You can set your mind to things and pay close attention to things. You know, like a paraplegic dude, I bet the best people with vibrators are men who can't use their dicks. Yeah. Those guys have a whole new level to prove. They've got something to prove. And they've got a reason to become an expert at something. Like a woman may have the intuition and the inside knowledge to use a vibrator a certain way. But a man with no dick and no balls, who's got something to prove and needs to keep a woman, he is going to figure out some tricks with that thing you never even thought of. I would put money on that. I would bet. Get me a pair. You show me a lesbian, and I'll show you a paraplegic man with a vibrator. And we'll see who's coming, or something like that. I don't know. Don't underestimate a man with something to prove. You know, a lot of men waste their something to prove, and they're like, no, what I gotta prove is that my dick is good enough, is that I don't need a toy to please my woman. So a lot of men will never even go down the path. I haven't really. I haven't ventured that far down the path of toys. So I feel like I'm like most men. But if my dick didn't work, if my dick and balls were gone, dude, I would be using a vibrator on like like oranges and stuff to like just figure out like what this thing can do. I would be practicing on myself. I would be like in the streets asking people if I can practice on them. It would be a whole situation. And thank God that's not my situation. Thanks, God. Thanks for not making me a paraplegic man so I have to prove my point. That's not what we want either. But somewhere out there is a man whose entire life depends on being the best vibrator guy. That's what I'm banking on. Okay, these swirls, I feel like I might just have to do another time because what's more important to me now, those swirls, how they're shaped, is not as important as having a full robe. And I can fake some swirls later for this guy's robe, but what I really need is this outline to be done. So I'm going to make sure that is where my focus is right now. Because I don't think I have time to do all of it. This part's not even lubed. But you know how much I don't care? This much. Because what I need is to fucking get through this. Come on. We're running out of time. Just keep poking. Come on. You can do it. We're going to do it. I can get through another wing in 5 minutes. I got 5 more minutes. Maybe 7. I could push it to 7 minutes, but then I have to speed. Then I have to get in my car and possibly get into a car accident from how much of a rush I'll be in. But that's just what you do sometimes. Sadie, this has been the most enlightening if you're still there, this has been the most enlightening conversation of Scratchers history. That's so cool. It's so cool to know somebody like you now. I mean, I have met a lot of weirdos through this show. There have been some real characters. But you got a whole own situation. And you're a scratcher. And that's what it's all about. Alright, let's get this wing done. We're going to do it. Phase 1 of my final tattoo of the summer. Of the summer break, I mean. Because this next week my daughter goes back to school. So I'll be able to shift up this schedule a little bit. But this is like my final for my flippin' frickin' holy moly, why am I worried about the angle right now? This is like my, damn it, why do I care? This is my last week of doing it like this, where it's like early mornings, every day. And this is like the last tattoo that I'm going to be able to finish before summer break. So, I'm glad that you definitely lived up to the hype of this tattoo with your lifestyle, with with the things that you've revealed about yourself today, with the things that we've all learned about relationships and sexuality today. Because this is obviously a pretty big tattoo. And especially if you weren't even here, it would be like, oh well, that's what we would all say. We'd be like, oh well, who cares? But since you were here and we learned so much interesting things, it's like, cool. That's a good final. But yeah, this is my test. I've been in school all summer. I took some college summer classes. And finals week was cake. Finals week was super cake, but this is definitely my most difficult final, is making this one happen. So I appreciate you for making this stream so goddamn interesting. While also I have to rush through this shit, because I shouldn't ever have to rush through a tattoo. But when I do, I also shouldn't be having interesting conversations while I'm doing it. And yet here we are, getting deep into the weeds about some shit that I didn't know was going to happen. So the size and scope of this tattoo is completely, like, what's it called? Justified. It, like, makes total sense from every angle. The timing, like when I'm giving myself this tattoo, how I have to give it to myself, and who it's for, all makes sense. It all makes sense. And that's nice. It's nice when things add up together and still make sense. Because any one of those things, if I was doing this tattoo in the middle of the summer, it would be like, oh, just another tattoo. And if I was doing this tattoo because you said wizard last week, and then we never heard from you again, it would be like, oh, okay, just another scratcher. And if I was giving myself this tattoo in a reasonable time frame, where I could take my time with it and really chill out and just, poke myself at a fair rate, I'm now running late. I'm officially late, but I can finish it. We can do this. It's going to be okay. If I didn't have to rush against the goddamn clock for this tattoo, you know what I mean? Like, that would be fine too. It would be totally fine if I wasn't completely stressing about finishing this tattoo before I go pick up my daughter. But instead, this is my last tattoo of summer break. It's for a wild-ass scratcher who's present, and it's a race against the clock. I mean, it does not get better than this. So for this to be... This is a tattoo I wanted before I started tattooing myself. Before I ever even tattooed myself, I wanted a tattoo of this character. I just wanted a professional to do it, so it looked good. But now here I am, giving it to myself. That's another piece of the puzzle. It's, like, really cool. And I feel very grateful that this situation is exactly as it is. It's, like, quite magical. So, big shout out. If Master Payne is still here, big shout out to you for letting Sadie take the stand. Master Payne and I do a lot of chatting. We've done a lot of chatting over this summer. And he's always quite present. So the fact that I haven't heard from him this conversation, if he's still watching right now, that's like, he deserves an applause break for himself, just for keeping his damn fingers to himself today. and letting this interesting conversation pan out. But he might be grossed out by your sex life, to be honest. He might have left when he found out how freaky you are, if we're being real honest about the situation. But that's okay. You know, there's a whole number of different ways things can go. And it's just... Anyways, hey look, we finished it. And I'm not late. I leave my house at 6:23. It's 6:22 right now. And I just finished. That's pretty cool. If you ask me, that's something that only the Lord can make happen. Oh, fuck yeah, Master Pain. Yeah, omegling it. I don't even know what that means. That sounds like some creepy shit. Guys, we did it. We fucking made it through the outline. This is my biggest, I mean, look, all of my tattoos are tiny. Except this is my biggest one, technically. My coffee leaves. But this one's next. That's a big tattoo. And this is a big day, but I gotta get going right now. Because now that I'm talking about how late I wasn't, I'm making myself late. So I'm gonna dip this thing. Look, I'm not crazy, but all I have is coffee right now. And I gotta clean this tattoo. I have to clean it, or else I'm gonna have ink all over my shirt, which I probably already do. We got soap and coffee, and now we're wiping. And there's nothing wrong with that. Coffee has antioxidants, okay? It's good for you. But yeah, that outline is done. We fucking did it. Oh, that's great. That's a good day. Alright. Lots of love, Master Pain. Lots of love, Sadie. Everybody have a good day. And then tomorrow I'll do the outline again, and it can be more chill, and we can spend a little bit more time not stressing. But yeah, holy shit. Can't believe that shit worked. I cannot believe. I honestly don't believe it. But I have to go right now, or else I'm going to be late to pick up my daughter. So